Hey YouTube, Siren Frost here, and today I'm doing a deck profile of my Shadow Paladin Shadow Knights. I was supposed to win first place my last tournament last night, or last Friday, but I ended up sharing it with my good friend, Kirasakatsu. But hopefully we'll even the score on the next shop tournament. So, anyways, this deck's very heavy, aggressive heavy, very power hungry, I guess you'd say. But I'll let you guys decide about it. Anyways, so my starting Vanguard is Promising Knight David. His Generation Break 1 skill is you retire him. Anytime you pay a cost for one of your other unit's abilities, and they require retiring and all that stuff, he actually counts as pay 2 costs for retiring. So when it comes to like Phantom Blaster Diablo or Aurageyser Dragon, anything like that, he comes in very quite handy. I can kind of see why Kanzaki uses 3 of him, honestly. Now for the trigger lineup, I'm using 4 old school heal triggers just because Abyss Healer has always been my favorite heal trigger for Shadow Paladins. Because 1, I like the green orb, and 2, I like the black armor. And she's also an angel type too, so I guess you guys kind of get adjusted on that one. For my deck, I actually run 12 crits, because I like the extra damage. So I got 4 Leaping Knights, 4 Grim Reapers, and 4 Death Fairy Eagles. I've seen a lot of people actually play 16 crits, but I think that's just a little too much even for me. So I stick with just 12 crits and 4 heals, because I like the aggressiveness to it. I like the extra power, and I like to end some matches quickly. And with this deck, you can probably see kind of why. For grade 1s, I run 4 AK Vanillas, Knight of Diligence, just to add a little bit more pressure to the attacks and the combinations. I play 4 Night Sky Eagles. Whenever he's called, his Generation Break 1 is whenever he's called to the rearguard circle, you can add 4,000 power to him. So he's 11k attacker or 11k booster. So whatever you prefer to do, and he does extremely better for the Vanguard, because the Vanguard gets 26,000 power for stride, and plus 11,000, that's like 37,000. Or whatever I just said, I don't know. And yes, my throat's been kind of clogged up. I did things a little differently with Perfect Guards, so I'm playing 2 copies of Karma Collector and 2 copies of Little Skull Witch Nemain. I do want 2 more shiny ones version of her, and then I need 2 more of him anyways. But what I found out awesome about these guys is that as long as you have one of these in your drop zone, then you can activate one of their abilities. Like you can. And for Karma Collector, you can, as long as you have another copy of him in the drop zone, you can flip 1 card face up in the damage zone. And as long as you have another copy of Nemain in the drop zone, you can discard a card and you draw a card. So, and then I realized that this whole deck helped me get a huge hand for guarding and extra calls and all that stuff. So, it's pretty awesome. It's pretty awesome. I didn't have no complaints for it whatsoever. Although I think at the end of the week, though, my friends and my other people at the card shop, it's gonna probably kill me now. But anyways, next up, I play 2 copies of Cherishing Knight Bronwyn. She's not only your stride enabler, but as long as you reveal a grade 3 in your hand, you can she helps you search your deck for a copy of Claret Sword and add to your hand. So she's a searcher and a stride enabler. Pretty awesome. And I like the artwork too. For grade 2s, I'm playing 4 copies of the 10k vanilla Fahrenheit Gwawl. Just, like I said, a little bit more pressure to this deck, because I like to try to add more pressure, twice the amount of pressure that this deck can dish it out. And because last night I was just not feeling well, like I just got off work, and I head straight to the card shop, and all of a sudden I was in so much of a pissed off rage that 12 crits was my only answer to winning that night, and I just had enough. Next, for grade 2s, I'm playing 4 copies of Scornful Knight Gyva. This is one of the few cards actually sealed me for the winning streaks. Her Generation Break 1 is you discard a card and you draw a card. Draw 2 cards. And also you counterblast 1. So, and even though she's a 7k attacker and for a grade 2, she still does very huge damage when it comes to Knight of Diligence or Night Sky Eagle. So don't really count her out just yet. And plus she adds, with 4 of her you actually draw 2 cards every time there's a Generation Break. So you're actually drawing 8 up to 8 cards every time you call her, retire, call her, all that. You can keep going on. Like, it's a non-ending cycle. Last for my grade 2s, I'm playing 3 copies of Dark Knight Maiden Mecha. Her Generation Break is you counterblast as long as whenever she's supported by a rear guard, you can search your deck for one grade 1 or less Shadow Paladin and Superior Cullet. So she just adds more Superior Cullets to this deck too, and more multiple attacks, depending. So for grade 3s, I'm running 2 copies of Claret Sword. I do have 3 now, but I never had a chance to put a 3rd one in, so I just used 2. His Generation Break 2 is you can choose 2 of your rear guards and retire them. And this unit gets plus 10,000 power and plus 1 critical at the end of the turn. Now his stride skill is whenever you can counterblast 1 card, and then you search your deck for a grade 1 or less Shadow Paladin and Superior Cullet. And he gets plus 2,000. It gets plus 2,000 in the turn. So that's why Night Sky Eagle and Knight of Diligence are the only 2 musts in this deck. Because Knight of Diligence will get 10,000 power after the stride skill, or Night Sky Eagle will get 6,000 power when combined with that skill. Plus it's a skill. You could do a lot of nasty combinations with this thing, believe it. Next, I play 4 copies of Xiaolin Dragon. We actually we all know what he does, but basically you retire. His limit break is you counterblast 1 and choose 2 of your own rear guards and retire them. And at the end of the battle, that unit attacks attack the Vanguard. Then you can choose up to 2 of your own opponent's rear guards and retire them. So, and then you can just counterblast 1 just to increase its power by 2,000 for every card, but that's it. Next, I play 2 copies of Sharp Fang Witch Fodla. I know everyone's probably thinking, like, why play her? Well, I never had a chance to actually use the other Shadow Paladin grade 3s I have, like Dark Mage Bribe card, Great Dark Mage Bribe card, or whatever else is out there. I don't have the other Phantom Blasters or anything. So, she was the only card I have in my deck binder. But, basically, she lets you counterblast, and whenever she's called to the Vanguard Regard Circle, you can search your deck for up to 2 grade 0s from your deck and Superior Column. And then you can just shuffle your deck. So, this adds a little bit more shuffling, and just adds a little bit more pressure to boosting, I guess. So, anyways, that's for the main deck, and now for the G units, I'm using only one copy of Supremacy, Black Dragon, Aurageyser Dragon. He's a Counterblast and G Persona Blast, and a Soul Blast 1. It says here, and choose 2 of your own rear guards and retire them. That's where Diva comes into play. You can choose to sacrifice him, and then whenever he attacks a Vanguard, if you do, reveal the top 2 cards of your deck, and it gets 5,000. And this unit gets plus 5,000 for each grade 1 or less unit has been revealed. And after that whole effect, you can add the 2 cards from your hand. But since I don't have the 3 copies, I'm only stuck with 1. So I could have used another Create Elemental Stride, but I just chose to use this because I'm trying to dish out more Shadow Paladins than Create Elementals. Next, I'm playing 2 copies of Dark Knight Grim Recruiter. He's just your generic Shadow Paladin Stride. Whenever he attacks the Vanguard, and if it hits, you can search your deck for 1 grade 1 or less Shadow Paladin and Superior Cullet. And then I'm playing 4 copies of Dark Dragon, Phantom Blaster, Diablo. One of the main bosses in this deck, just because it's overly powerful. It's a 1-turn kill kind of thing. So its ability is you counterblast 1 and you G Persona Blast 1 copy of Dark Dragon, and it gets plus 10,000 power and plus 1 critical. Also with its automatic skill, you choose 3 of your own rear guards and retire them. And if you do, your opponent has to choose 2 of his own rear guards and his or her own rear guards and retire them. And if not, you can't guard with shit. And since this is going to critical, and this deck has nothing but 12 crits, let's just say, for example, my last opponent I did this to, the very first round, when me and him played, I ended up pulling 3 triple criticals. 3 criticals. And that just adds, it doesn't add to his power, but it just adds more bonuses. So that's like a quadruple critical right there, and it's very dangerous. And the next round 2, I pulled double critical triggers. So that's why you gotta be proceed with caution. Advance with caution with this deck. And then I'm only playing 1 copy of Miracle Element Atmos just for the extra 10,000 power boost pressure. So anyways, guys, that's my Shop Paladin deck profile I played last Friday in the shop tournament, and yeah. And I know you guys are probably all thinking, like, why in the fuck would you play such a heavy, aggressive deck and a very uncontrollable one? It's because I've developed a sensation for Bloodlust. So it's just a personal preference kind of thing, and it's a choice. Anyways, guys, that's my deck profile, and thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, like, comment on this video, and if you guys have your own preference on this deck profile, just go ahead and feel free to leave a comment section down below, and there will be a full deck list on the deck in the description down below. And so, hope you guys have a great weekend, and I'll talk to you guys next time. This is Siren signing out.